to begin the press conference. So if everyone could come and line up, we're facing. We're gonna be facing north. So we're gonna be facing this way. If anyone wants to join the issues and response, you can come on this side.
Good afternoon, good evening everyone. Welcome, welcome. As we stand in solidarity to combat the scourge of gun violence. Today is June 1st, the opening of Gun Violence Awareness Month. Yesterday on Gun Violence Awareness Eve, there was a shooting right here that took place in the Crown Heights community in front of this deli on Franklin Avenue in Eastern Parkway. Two teenagers, ages 16 and 17, were shot, a male and a female. Thank goodness they are both still alive and well with us. All too often, we see this mayhem happening in our communities, and we lose our children. We lose our loved ones. It's a scourge that is plaguing our country, and yet right here in Brooklyn, it happens on a daily basis. Some stories don't even make the news. We wanted to come out here today to be able to be together, stand together, and allow the community to know that we are not going to tolerate this. To allow the community to know that we understand your pain. We understand the misfortune. I personally had to bury my late husband, Carey Gabay, who was shot in 2015 in front of Ebbets Field. He was assistant counsel to the governorship of New York. The hardest, darkest decision of my life was taking my husband off of life support because he was pronounced brain dead. A bullet to the head, a hollow tip bullet. Why is it so easy for us to get weapons like this that kills and destroys lives? I am honored and humbled to stand here amongst these amazing organizations that do the groundwork daily, allowing these streets to feel safe. When there's a shooting, they are on the ground. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this moment to be able to allow communities to see that gun violence is not welcome in our neighborhoods and our communities. I would like to ask our first speaker of the evening, Farrah Lewis.
Forrest.
Farrah Forrest. To be able to just share a few words with the community.
Trust me, it's good. No, that's a sister. That's a Haitian sister. She my sister, so we good. We go. Farrah here, Farrah there. Great. My name is Farrah Sufran Forrest. I'm the assembly member representing proudly the 8057 that includes Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, and Crown Heights. The best part, honestly. The best part of Crown Heights. But honestly, I'm very saddened to know that the community that I grew up in for the past 34 years, growing up on Crown Street and later on moving to Ebbets Field, that we have, just as we had tragedies when I was growing up, we still have the tragedies today. What happened yesterday where the two teens, a 17-year-old, let's call them children, under the eyes of the law, the children 17 and 15-year-olds were caught in crossfire. And that is not a new thing. Unfortunately, this is only part of the big gun violence, gun problem we have in Crown Heights. But as your assembly member, I have to always think about the root of the problem. What we see on the streets with the 17-year-old male, 15-year-old female outside of the school getting shot and ending up in Kings County, that is a symptom of a community that is not getting the resources it needs to thrive. If we look at the history of Crown Heights and the rest of from here to Utica, we know that the people pour in, but somehow the dollars don't meet us where we're at. When we look at the after-school programs, the institutions to support our children, our youth, they're not there. And this is where I am standing today to say we need our institutions back. We need our support back. When we think about what keeps our children safe, they need safe spaces where they can come in and not have to worry about the ops, not have to worry about the housing and the roaches, not worry about the hunger, not worrying about what sneakers I have and I don't have, not worry about what the young person next to them said to them in school, a place for them to let it go, de-stress, and just be the young, bright light that they are. And this is why I am standing strong next to Trinell today to support our foundation, some of the institutions that are trying to thrive. We're trying to get the dollars here where they matter. Because if we don't support our children, our communities are dead. What are we working for if we don't have the kids together? If they don't know that guns are never the solution. You have adults, you have young people like yourself, but then you have people that care. You have your clergy, you have the stores. You can stop by the store and be like, yo, Habibi, I got a problem. Let's be real. Are we not people? Are we not communities? Do our dollars not go into these businesses? They ought to be a resource for us. And I'm calling them out today. We really need to come together as a community to set up Major Owens to be what it's supposed to be. A safe haven for our communities. A safe haven for our children. You don't gotta say, I'll say it for you today. Okay? So we're gonna work over the next couple of weeks to get it together so we can actually stem this gun violence problem where it's at. We need to make sure the resources come down. It's not just SYEP, y'all. We need to make sure that all the schools, all the institutions, all the businesses are together to build up a corridor from the school to their houses where they all feel safe and taken care of. Also, I want to bring a light. Monique Chandler Waterman, along with our Senator, Zelnar Myrie, are working on a piece of legislation, and I need y'all all to listen up. It's very important. We know that there can be 3-4 shootings in one day, within the hour, right? But according to state law, that's not a mass shooting. We know it's a mass shooting, but it's not a mass shooting according to the law. And so, when you have mass shootings, that means dollars come in. That means people come in. That means resources come in after the shooting. But if they just say multiple shootings, that don't count. That's just black people got problems with themselves. So, they're working on some important piece of legislation, and I'm telling you, I stand for it. But y'all need to stand for it too. That means y'all gotta pick up the phone and call the governor. The governor that came here and said vote for Hochul, she needs to make sure she brings some dollars to here because we got her in. Ain't nobody else did it. Rochester didn't do it. Buffalo didn't do it. New York did it. Brooklyn did it. Crown Heights did it. So she needs to put her money where her votes are. Right? So I need y'all to call up and support this mass shooting bill to change the definition. So we can say that there was a mass shooting in Crown Heights, there was a mass shooting at Ingersoll, there was a mass shooting at Farragut, so we can make the money come here so we can work and do what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Farah. Your words are poignant and meaningful. If you would be able to get into contact with the executive directors of the organizations here and forward over that bill so we can just see it, share with our constituents, that would be amazing. Just holding everybody accountable so that way we're moving in tandem with the same mission. All right? We'll now like to have Mike Tucker from Lay the Guns Down.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Instructions, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, community.
Good afternoon, King.
Everyone knows me. No, I don't bite my tongue. I don't pull no punches. You see, everybody that's standing behind me are community-based organizations that are out here every day fighting to make sure that the community is able to do what they need to do. Get to school, go to work, take the train, go to the store, get home every day. But if you look around, the problem that we have is the community is not here. The community needs to be here. And I say this every time that I get a chance to speak. Because if the community is not here, they think that we don't care. You live here. I'm sure that everybody that's standing behind me do not live on this side. But we're here because we're part of the community. And we're not you know, but I'm saying we're working together to make sure that the community understands what we can do together to end gun violence. But we have to come together. We have to show people that's out here, the people that's seeing us at home, that the community cares. If the community is not out here, they think that we don't care, we don't matter. And we do. And that's why we do what we do. And we stand here every day and fight for the community. But we need your help. We need you to say what's going on in the streets is not all right. We need you to make sure that the young brothers and sisters that are flying through the community, that you stop and have a conversation with them and explain to them. You can't call mommy and tell her to come take you home after you murder somebody. You can't call mommy and tell her to come and get you when you shoot somebody in the head when you're trying to get someone else. You can't call mommy and daddy after that. So we need to do what we can do today so we don't have to worry about gun violence tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Tucker. We need to be able to have after-school programs. You mentioned Safe Haven, right? So we at the Major R. Owens Health and Wellness Community Center on Bedford Avenue in Union. The Recreation Center is named after my late husband, Carey, Gabay. We have the space there, and we are looking to start an after-school program in September. Let's huddle, let's connect, and let's get the after-school program going. It's already in the making. We need the kids. So all these organizations that are here today, you have our youth. We need them to be able to sign up and register. No charge. At no charge. At no charge. Okay? At no charge. We need to be able to get the kids in the building. So funding, right? funding and the resources is what we're looking for. Let's keep this moving with Rob Williams from Elite Learners.
Good evening. Good evening. You know, my friendships are growing closer with the people I do this work with because unfortunately we all get together at these shooting responses. This is where we have most of our conversations. You know, as I come over here on Eastern Parkway in Franklin, I know this area and I know there's a lot of people in this area that have influential words with the youngsters in the communities. So we need that help and support. Like my organization, we are in as many schools as possible. And we talk to the youth when we have them in schools. And we mediate conflicts within the schools, and we hope it doesn't resonate outside the schools. So we need to work in unison with the elders in the community to make sure that the work that we do in the schools is also reflective outside the schools. Because schools are supposed to be safe havens where you can go and get your education and have fun in the meantime. But when you walk into these schools now, they're like terror domes. Kids are scared to go to school, so they're in the streets. So I know for a fact that this block right here has a tremendous flow of kids coming through here because there are 3 schools right down the block. So we need help from the community to get these kids moving along. Don't hang out and linger. Because when you linger, it's a high potential of the problem. If you got somewhere to be, get where you need to be, safely. You know, and it's unfortunate that this happened while these kids stopped at the store. Innocently. Thank God they're all right. But we have to work hand in hand with these communities because the work that we're doing cannot be done by ourselves. So the resources that are needed need to come this way. Because this is hard work. It's a 24/7 job. We don't work an 8-hour shift. We are out here and doing this work when people are sleeping. We are getting called to come help someone that has been in distress or their family is going through a severe tragedy. So I just want to say, let us come together and work with this community to make it a safer place for these children that walk through these communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Williams. You know, honestly, here it is, we're talking about community, right? This whole block should be filled with bodies. Everybody in this community should be looking out the window with flags, taking in everything that we're talking about, because you know what? We are each other's keeper. When you talk about the movement of MLK, Malcolm X, all of these people, I mean, Ebbets Field was the stadium. This community has high potential. And this is why we're out here talking about it and doing the work. I'm going to pass the mic to Hercules Reed, Community Affairs.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hercules Reed, and I'm here on behalf of the mayor representing Community Affairs as the Brooklyn North Borough Director. It brings me no great pleasure or honor to be here today to have this conversation, but we are here in support. Because the reality is here we are yet again. Conversation that you hear over and over again at these shooting responses. Here we are yet again, yet another life, yet another victim impacted for life. Here we are again, yet another statistic. We've been hosting youth-led town halls around public safety in our borough, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, with the mayor's office and many others. And something that bothered my soul the other day was when our gun czar, A.T. Mitchell, asked our young people, how many of them have experienced gun violence? Every single young person in that room raised their hand. And when he asked a follow-up question of, how many of you know personally someone who was shot and killed or harmed? And just almost as much kids raised their hands. So here we are again. 2 young lives, 16, 17, now a part of that statistic, who have to go home every day. A familiar block, a familiar corner store, a familiar neighborhood that is no longer normal for them. Too often our children having to face these realities at such a young age, and we're forgetting that it also impacts their lives through trauma. There's healing now that has to go on, not just with these young people, but in the community. These young people that were shot have friends who care about their well-being, who are now also impacted knowing that their friend who was walking on a familiar block, going to a familiar store, was shot. Not on purpose, but on an accident. And so we're here to stand and say that we support our victims who are continuously impacted by senseless violence. We're here because we know the work of our Cure Violence groups, and you all do sometimes thankless work. Here on these corners and all over our city, hour after hour, trying to curb and end gun violence in our communities. And as you know and as you've said, you cannot do it alone. This is not one man, one group, one organization's task. This is the role of our federal government, our state government, our city government, but also our community. We all play a role in how we move forward from here. We cannot point fingers in one direction. We have to look inside and say, what can we do more of? What can we do better? And we're here to say that we're here to do that work with you, and you are not alone. So thank you for having us. And on behalf of the mayor, again, we just want to send our love to this community as they're going through this tough time. And you are not alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Reed. We have a beautiful young lady standing to the left of us. Do you want to share your name and just say your age?
My name is Brooklyn Carey, born in 1999.
This is our future. This is our future leaders. And this is why we're out here. And how amazing. Your name is Brooklyn. Thank you, Brooklyn, for being so brave and sharing your voice with all of us. I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you, Brother Reed. Kevin Williams from SOS, and Teresa Cunningham from Moms Demand Action.
I'm gonna start off like this. When I say stop shooting, y'all say start living. Stop shooting. Start living. Stop shooting. Start living. Stop shooting. Start living. Peace, y'all. My name is Kevin Williams. I am an outreach worker at SOS Crown Heights. I'm 33 years of age and I am a father times 4. 2 daughters and 2 sons. When do we stop making trauma a norm and start teaching more generational wealth? Why can't we love each other as much as you love your brother, your so-called best friend, and everybody else that you see on a regular day? Why are we so afraid to share love to the man in the corner store instead of calling him Op? Why can't he be a brother? Primo too. We need to stop it. It's getting annoying. It's tiring. And more so, y'all look for the community to come out, right? But what are we giving to the community for them to come out? What are we sharing? What love are we giving out? What type of energy are we giving out throughout a daily basis? I just came from an event with my own Cure Violence team, people that I know from CMS and on. And the tension around each other that had on the same colors felt weird. So why are we the same color and we feel weird around each other? Because from what I remember, this fist don't mean nothing to do with pain. This means love, unity, and strength. Am I right?
Yes.
So why when it go this way, the love disappears? Why does one finger take away lives? Why does this one finger tear families apart? We need to stop thinking about one person and think about more than that. Think about peace, think about love, and let's build. Peace, y'all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Therese Cunningham. I'm here with Moms Demand, another organization dedicated to ending gun violence. We are standing here today with you in solidarity and support. You have heard so many amazing things tonight. The legislation that you can help, the community centers that you can support. There is no end to what every single one of us can do, and we do this because we don't have to live like this. Our kids, our families, our sisters, our brothers, our aunts, uncles, grandparents, mothers, fathers, everyone. We need to do better, and we will not stop supporting the community until we do. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to now pass the bullhorn to Pastor Straker, 67 Clergy God Squad. Thank you for making it.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings to you all, those of you under the sound of my voice, those of you passing by. We are here because of another shooting. Shooting that could have well taken the lives of two beautifully intelligent young people from our community. I need everyone under the sound of my voice to come out of your homes and come at this corner, because we have a community problem. We have a problem, and we got to solve it. The summer hasn't even started as yet, and we're already seeing upticks in shooting. The question is, what are we going to do about it? I represent the 67th Precinct Clergy Council. I'm the chairman of the board and member of the clergy. I'm here also with other people that are a part of our organization. Under our leadership, Pastor Edward Hines, who couldn't be with us here today, he's traveling back from Albany. We represent the clergy voice in this fight against gun violence. I want to call upon clergy in this community. I don't know if there's a 71st Precinct Clergy Council, but if there is not one, there needs to be one immediately. Our clergy have got to get on the ground. I stand amongst credible messengers that are here as well, but I believe that clergy has a credible voice in the community as well. We have to do our part. It's going to take all of us to fight gun violence. There is no amount of police we can put on the streets to arrest our way out of gun violence. I would dare say there is not even enough resources to pull us out of gun violence. It's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some people that take the time to get into the lives of our young people to help transform their hearts and minds. That's why I love clergy being in this work, because as much as you can legislate taking away the guns, as much as you can pour resources in, the real problem is what's going on in the heart and the mind of our young people. And I believe in the power of God. I believe that He can transform hearts and minds. So we need people of faith to get in and do this work. And so listen, we do need resources. I'm not going to say we don't need them. But at the end of the day, we've been crying for resources for years. We've been putting people in jails, and it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars just to keep one individual in jail. If we were to take just a portion of those resources, imagine what we can do in help changing lives in the community with our young people. But if we don't get the resources, if we don't get the money to come down that some of us have been waiting for years, what are we going to do?
I remember a story in the Bible where Moses was up against the great task of going up against Pharaoh and the mighty Egypt. And he was unsure, he wasn't sure of how he was going to measure up and stand up against Pharaoh. And he says, who am I? What do I have that I can go out and really let them know? Suppose they ask me, who is you? Whose name do you come in? And God answered him and said, what's in your hand? And I say it to the people in the community today, you may be waiting for resources. I'm sure many of you have put in for grants for the money that we need, but it's not here yet. You're fighting for it to come down, but it's not here yet. But I say to this community, what's in your hands? What's in your feet? What's in your mouth? We may not have all the dollars to fight, but we got hands that we can pray with, feet that we can pray with, a mouth that we can talk to our young people, that we can show them that we care and love. We have everything we need to fight gun violence. All we need is the heart to make a change. In this community, as you look, it's transforming. When I was younger, everybody that looked like me came out of that train station. Now, the community has changed, but the problem still exists. This is not a black problem. This is not a white problem. It could have been a white young person that was shot right here on Franklin, because the dynamics is changing. So we need everybody in the community to pull all of our time, our energy, our effort, our heart, our resources together and save our streets and save our children. God bless you all.
Can I get an amen? Amen. 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 Praise the Lord. So before we close, I saw a brother here who's been in the gun violence movement for over 30 years. He is a legend, and I just want him to be able to come to the mic and bask us with his presence. Brother Jeffrey Davis from the James E. Davis Foundation.
All right. So, again, Chanel, amazing job. Everybody being a part of this is an amazing job. We've been at this train station for over 32 years. My brother was the councilman in this area, Councilman James E. Davis. Next month marks 20 years since he's been assassinated inside New York City Hall. So, on the front line, since his assassination, is myself. We changed the name of our organization from Love Yourself, Stop the Violence to the James E. Davis Stop Violence Foundation. So with me, 20 years, and then my brother, 15 years prior, that's 35 years that we've been addressing violence in this community and throughout the United States, crying out, love yourself, stop the violence. I told Chanel, I said, I'm going to support you. And because Chanel lost her husband, and I know the feeling, so I wanted to support her and stand with her, because you're welcome, because she's taken a stand against violence. My boy, Brian, and the young man that spoke for SOS, where's he at? Huh? All right, come here. I knew him since he was this big, and I had to go to him and say, I'm so proud of you. So I stood back and said, I'm so proud of you. This is my guy. I had to go to him 2 or 3 times and say, I'm so proud of you. This big. Look. And look at the message. So we are reaching folks. So when you think that you're not, again, I want to say this. Since, and with the young lady, where's she at? Here she go. Here she go. Since they was little, I said, how's the baby? She said, 6 feet tall. Her children. So the message, we're reaching people. Never think that you're not. They hear and they see and they understand we're reaching people. So don't feel discouraged. Keep pushing, keep fighting. And if you look around, the resources are right here. We have the resources right here. We have the power right here. Collectively, she was speaking about the Armory, the Major Owens Recreation Center. My office is in there as well. We had to get in, but we got it done. There's a state-of-the-art recreation center. Partake, swimming, basketball, soccer, dance, yoga, karate, you name it. Let's utilize it. Let's utilize it, and let's continue to build out in our community. All right? It's free. And if you can't afford it, ask for Jeffrey Davis. If you can't afford it, find Jeffrey Davis, and I'm going to make a way.
All right, well, there's no way.
We make a way when there's no way. If you cast your vote and they go about their business, we make a way. We find a way anyway. Because this is what we've been doing for years and years and years. We make a way. So we'll be all right anyway. So listen to the sound of my voice. I want that camera to roll. When you come into our community and you're shaking our hands during election time, and then we believe in you and we say, okay, and we cast a vote for you, and then you disappear, we're going to be all right anyway, and we're going to realize that you're going to have to come back around. We will not continue to be hoodwinked, but we're going to be all right anyway. We're going to be all right because we're survivors. See, this is what we do. We make it. We're all right. I didn't want to speak. I'm sorry. Y'all did it to me. And I'm going to get this bullhorn out my hand. God bless you. Love yourself. When I say love yourself in memory of all victims of violence, I want you to say stop the violence for me. Is that all right? Yes. Love yourself. Love yourself. Stop the violence. Love yourself. Stop the violence. God bless you. Carey, good day. We love you. Rest in peace.
I had to do it. Love yourself.
Stop the violence.
Love yourself.
Stop the violence.
Love yourself.
Stop the violence.
Yes. So we at the Carey Gabay Foundation, we are also in the schools teaching yoga and mindful meditation. We're teaching children and youth how to breathe to help combat anxiety, PTSD, trauma. I know I firsthand suffer from PTSD. And when I got the phone call that the shooting happened right here, my anxiety peaked. I immediately thought about the phone call that I got when I lost my husband. So we're all here, alive and well, and to continue doing work. I want to thank the 71st Precinct for coming out and being able to close down the block for us to be able to congregate and have this conversation. Seems like it's a conversation that we keep having, but hopefully the more that we have it, the more change will come. We're going to be in these streets marching throughout the summer, so stay tuned to more emails for us to get together. It shouldn't have to be somebody getting shot for us to have these discussions and for us to have these meetings. Let's keep doing it throughout the summer. We'll be in touch. Thank you to the God Squad, Pastor Monroe, Save Our Streets, Mom Demands Action, Lay the Guns Down, Elite Learners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Hold on, before we close, we got the public advocate that made the time to bask us with his presence. Jamani Williams. Hey, Brother Williams.
Peace and blessings, everybody. How you doing? Shout out to everybody who's here, and thank you to this amazing woman that gave me the microphone for all the work that she's been doing and epitomizing turning pain into purpose. And I'm glad that we took some time to do a shooting response. It's really important that whenever this occurs, that we take a moment and stop and say, yo, somebody was shot here. That's not something that we could just accept as normal and keep walking past and going to work and coming home. And it's important to point out that 2 young people were shot, most likely by 2 other young people. And that means we have some things that are broken. I also want to say that it's important that we know there has to be accountability for people's actions. You can't go around shooting up a place with no accountability. But what I do know is that we can't keep doing the same thing over and over, nothing changed, and still keep doing the same thing. What that means to me is whoever is over 40 here, you know anybody who was shot when you were young? Whoever's only under 35, do you know anybody who was shot when you were young? That should not be. Because when I was coming up in the 90s, I was told that the reason there was so much police and so much overuse of police was to stop the violence that was occurring. So those 2 answers should have changed by now. And what I'm saying is we can't simply arrest the children of the people we arrested 10 and 20 years ago and think that that's what's going to make the change. And I know the media sometimes misconstrues me, so I want to be clear there has to be accountability for actions, but that accountability should lead to somebody saying no more shooting in our communities, and that is not happening. And so what has been happening in these shooting responses is saying that we have been pushing over and over for the resources that are needed to help these kids make better decisions and better choices, to stop communicating with violence, stop using permanent solutions for very temporary problems. That's what we need to see happen. And so I'm pleading, every time we have new leaders and new administrations, we're pleading for the same things, but we're not getting the responses that we need. What would make a young person pick up a gun and shoot another young person at 9 o'clock in the morning? When they go to school, that's a problem. So we have a problem with the supply, the guns coming into these communities. Congress is failing because we have a demonic obsession with guns in our country. Yes. Demonic obsession. And it's not about illegal guns, because every illegal gun was legal at some point. So there's a legal point of sale that is a problem. And then we have the demand issue. What is causing these young people to pick up these guns and use it at 9 o'clock in the morning? That is unacceptable. And I'm hoping that the media shows that the community cares, that black and brown people care that this is happening, and they're begging and pleading for the resources and the structure to stop it from happening.
Yes, yes.
And I want to be clear, because our law enforcement partners have a role to play here. But if you really want to support their role, stop asking them to do everything, because they can't. If they could have, they would have, and we wouldn't be here again. So what we're asking is, give the agencies the funding they need, give these community groups the funding that they need, and let's get to the root problem and causes that are getting our kids to be shooting each other, getting arrested, and changing their entire lives and trajectory. I'm so thankful that those young people will physically be okay. But what about mentally? Are we talking to those kids because the trauma that they received can be put on somebody else? And so I hope right now we're dealing with those young people so that trauma doesn't go other places. And I don't know if that's happening. I'm hoping that it is. But my plea today, thank you. My plea today is that the media, one, show all the black and brown people that are here who are sometimes portrayed as not caring that this is happening. And to the folks who have the purse strings and the ability to change structures, let's change them. Because what we know is that we're going to be here again. And the question that we should ask is, what did we do since the last time that we were here? Because it's really important. Peace and blessings, love and light.
Thank you, Brother Jamani Williams. I didn't think you were going to make it. Always a pleasure to see him. His words is always encouraging, and it gives me hope. So if it gives me hope, that means it gives us all hope. I see you, family. Thank you, everyone, for making the time to come out and join us on this journey. We will now close. Thank you, Pastor Monrose, for your walk, for your mission, for helping align all the moving parts to allow this to come into fruition. Thanks to the team at the Carey Gabay Foundation. We all got work to do. Let's keep in touch. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. There's going to be a whole bunch of different marches happening, but it shouldn't stop after June. Let's keep having the marches, keep having the conversation and the support. And let's definitely channel our anger into love, peace, and a harmonious, joyful life. Thank you, everyone.